see, Christ followers are not possessive of their possessions. We are owned by a king. And the spoils in which our king blesses us are at his disposal through us. And so Christ followers voluntarily, freely, occasionally, and gradually were selling their possessions, their private estates and land. And as a result of their spirit-led, Christ-centered generosity, none among them, think about that, had a significant need. Now, can you imagine the work of the Lord through his people? Can you imagine the goodness of the Lord if that was said of us? That of all that gather, that none of us have great need. That through the generosity of God's goodness and grace, through his people, we meet those needs. Can I tell you this has always been God's heart for his people? In fact, you remember Deuteronomy 15 when Moses is preaching and he's reminding the nation of Israel of who they are. They are children of covenant. Excuse me. They are children of promise. That they are children of a God who will provide, who will empower, protect, and bless them if their allegiance is to him. And so instead of wanting to be like everybody else, God just said, no, love me, trust me. And it was the picture of God's people, that God would so bless his people that they would naturally care for one another in Deuteronomy 15. Paul says it like this in Galatians 6, 9 and 10. Let us not grow weary then of doing good, for in good season we will all reap, so that everything we have we may give as God has blessed. You see, when Jesus is enough, his way is more important than stuff. And if you believe that, God will provide you an opportunity to, if not daily, to weekly meet that need. And God is so good to us. One of my favorite days of the week is Friday. So usually I come in the office Friday morning and meet with my 365 group, and then I have some other meetings with church members and those sorts of things. But right about lunchtime, I send the same text to Bryn every single Friday. Have you ordered yet? And what I have on Friday, we have 5 children, 12 and under, and so 4 of them are in school, 6th grade, 4th grade, 2nd grade, and kindergarten. And our youngest, Aubrey Faith, she stays at home on Fridays. And so I've used that as an opportunity to take 2 of my best gals on a date every single Friday. In fact, it's in my calendar, date with Bryn. It's a meeting I don't miss. And so one of our favorite places to eat is Payway, right off here of Kenosha. My 2-year-old loves Chinese food. And so I go by and get this food, and then our kids get home from school on Fridays and say, hey, what about us? So in God's goodness, our kids were out of school this past Friday. And so we had an opportunity to kind of celebrate lunch together. Now, I don't know about you, but there's always a couple of kids that they just tend to eat faster than all the other ones. And before you know it, right after the prayer, everything's gone. It's like, what happened? Talk about a miracle. It's gone. And so my 2nd grader, Gracie Kate, she loves Chinese food as well. And we were talking about this text and talking about how God's people were blessing others and were giving others. And in that same tune, Gracie, who had just finished her chicken, looked at me and said, Daddy, I've got a handful of noodles left, and I sure would like that chicken, and looked right at me. And so as I had a choice to either put this in my mouth or to give it to her to put it in hers, the Lord reminded me of this truth. When Jesus is enough, his way is more important than stuff. Can't you now see the blessing of God upon his people? Can't you see now the generous grace of God seen through the generosity of his people?